Good morning. Welcome to your climbing conditioning program. Today we're going to do a 25-minute workout where we're going to incorporate the hangboard as well as bodyweight exercises so that you can optimize your movements for climbing. First, we're going to go and do a warm-up sequence that'll be about 5 minutes. This is going to be warm-ups that are going to be specifically getting your body ready for movement. We're going to try to warm up all the joints that you're going to be utilizing in this program. Number 2 is we're going to alternate between a hang and a mobility sequence. In the final sequence, we're going to do 3-minute intervals where we're going to do 5 different hangs and insert different bodyweight exercises that you would use for climbing. With all of these, I want you to really pay attention. It is not about the quantity that you can do. It is about the quality that you perform. So I might be on this wall doing 30-second intervals instead of 10-second intervals, but just note, doing 10-second intervals are totally fine when you're hanging. On all of these, even the warm-up, if all you can do is do 10 seconds on the jug, that's okay. You can do this program with a bar or you can do this program with a hangboard. It is suggested with a hangboard. With all of your bodyweight exercises, I might throw out a number in the bodyweight exercises for a goal to shoot for in the bodyweight section, but it is not required for you to hit that number. So always remember that if I say 10 reps and you can't make it to 10 reps and you need some extra time to rest, that's okay. I would much rather you perform 8 reps with good quality than do 8 reps in good quality and 2 really poor reps, okay? So always focus on your form. And if you want a little bit more in-depth dive to your form, please check out the explainer videos where I explain each of the movements. Okay, let's get started and let's start warming up. First thing we're gonna do is our shoulder circles. This is a standard in all of my exercises because it's such a good warm-up. You can isolate one arm at a time if you have extra time today. But if you don't have extra time, we're just gonna go 2 arms just to make sure that your shoulders are warm. You can use this warm-up sequence when you're climbing as well, because guess what? The same body parts are gonna be utilized when you're climbing as you are in this program. We're gonna go 1 arm today too. 2, try to keep your elbow as straight as possible and try to keep your ribs from opening out when you're doing these. Change directions. Next, we're going to go into our elbows. Really just palms up, just getting a little circle on your elbows. I specifically like the elbow circles because it allows me to just feel where my joint is, feel where my body is, wake up my body, and pump synovial fluid into it. Wrist circles, we're just gonna go big circles here. And there's a very big difference between moving your hands and moving your wrists, right? We wanna focus on moving our wrists, change directions. Finger circles. We cannot do any climbing program. Always incorporate finger circles into your workout, especially if you're climbing. Get your fingers warmed up. Very important. We're gonna be using the fingerboard today. Really important that we use and get our fingers warmed up rather. So going 5 circles for each finger in one direction and then 5 circles in the other direction. And let's curl our fingers, do a little jellyfish, just get a little extra activation. I like the jellyfish. And when you go reverse jellyfish, you go in and out. Just practicing that extension, really just getting your hands warmed up to say, hey, you're gonna do some work today. Shake out your hands. Okay, we're gonna do a standing cat-cow. We're gonna round our thoracic spine and grab our arms back. Jump to the sky. Now, you might think 5 minutes is not enough time for a warm-up. I definitely don't think it is, but we are adding a little bit more warm-up into the hang warm-up sequence. So in reality, our warm-up sequence is a lot longer than 5 minutes. We're just calling this specific section the 5-minute sequence. The world's greatest stretch to open up our hips, keeping in a nice lunge position, pressing the back, then straightening all the way out, and then going into a hip flexor stretch, then switching sides. Our option is to keep our knee down when we're going backwards. So here we want to press that back leg back, then you can put your knee down and reach forward. That's totally fine. Oh, hip flexor.
All your stuff away and check out for the day. There's no time to waste when it's 100 degrees. Burns under my feet. Won't you have a drink with me? We head into town, see what it's about. Barely need a shirt, but make the most of it. We will dance and sing.
Last one.
There's a heat wave rolling in. There's a heat wave, yeah.
Okay.
There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Next, we're gonna move to the hang warm-up sequence where we're gonna alternate between the hang and a mobility exercise. We have 90 seconds for each of these, partially because these are easier hangs, and you should be able to do these hangs relatively easier because we're gonna be hanging on the jug instead of any of the smaller crimps. If you only have a pull-up bar, it's still okay to do these exercises. I would recommend doing some hanging core exercises instead of working on your finger exercises. Let's start with our hang. Here we're gonna make sure that we're relaxing our body towards the ground.
Makes the city come alive. A breeze that makes you high. We'll be up till late tonight. Love gets another chance. Pretty people holding hands. Uplifted by the night. The way that it should be. Can let it slip away. This might be our final summer.
At 30 seconds, you get off the wall. Okay, now we're gonna do our Jefferson curl, where we're gonna curl our body all the way to the ground.
There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire. There's a party in the streets and the city's on fire. There's a heat wave
Give yourself a little bit of time to shake out. I don't really chalk on my warm-up route, but you can. 3, 2, 1. This time we're gonna do a shoulder activation by activating our body from here to here. Now hold. Coming into our side lunge stretch. Nice wide stance. We're gonna come side. And it's okay to lift your heel on your supporting leg on this one because we're really just trying to work to open your hips. And we're gonna do an actual side lunge as an exercise in this program. Last one each side. Getting ready for our final hang. Our final hang is going to be a pumping activation. Around the world squat is going to be our final mobility. We're going to get into a nice deep squat, reach our arms back behind us, and come all the way forward. It's okay if you need to lift your heels off the ground. It's okay if you don't have a deep squat, and it's also okay if you need to turn your legs out. The whole point of this is to open your hips, because guess what you need? You need your hips open when you're climbing, and the more control you have with your hips, the better you're gonna climb. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Hip mobility and hip control is huge when it comes to exerting some of those moves. Okay, shake it out for a second. Get a quick chalk. For our work sequence, we're gonna allot 30 seconds for our hang, which you can do 10 seconds, 20 seconds, or the full 30 seconds. And then we're gonna integrate a body weight exercise for 2 minutes. Here we go. Middle crimp, holding. If you need it to be more difficult, you can always lift your knees up or even go into an L-sit. From here, we're gonna go into our single arm reach right here on the ground. Reaching one arm back behind us. Oops. Alternating. Guess what movement you need when you're climbing? You gotta bring your hip towards the wall. So we gotta make sure we get those hip extensions. Now we're gonna alternate hip extensions without the single arm reach. Okay, you got 25 seconds, roughly 30 seconds. We want to give ourselves about 30 seconds to shake out and rest, and we're giving ourselves about a minute and a half of work. Feels like a lot, but we're trying to superset these so that you can get a heart rate raise and work 2 things at once, your body weight movements as well as your hangs. Here we go, 3-finger drag on the big hold. Okay. Whew. Now we're gonna go into our side lunges. Come in all the way down. Whew. This time, try not to lift your heel off the ground. This heel's okay. The supporting heel is okay, but the primary heel you wanna keep on the ground. We're gonna reach. Again here, we wanna really focus on getting those movements strong, because what we're trying to push, we want to really engage and push as we're going into the other side. This will set you up for your other variations, like a pistol squat or a dragon squat, which a lot of people love on the internet right now. But these are just the easier versions. Last one. Now we're gonna do a quick twist kick. Twisting and kicking. Guess what movement we're always doing on the wall? We're rotating to one side, rotating to the other side. Granted, we're at a different angle. All right, 20 seconds rest. Now we're gonna move to the smaller crimp. And if you aren't able to go do the smaller crimp, use your feet on the ground. You can always hold like this. And if you can, lift your legs up. I don't recommend crossing your legs. I recommend keeping your feet together and engaging. This ensures that you're activating your abdominal wall instead of pressing down into your legs. Whew. Tough one. Okay, so we're gonna do the crab walk on this one. It's gonna look kind of funny. We're just really focusing on you can play here. Really focus on opening your chest, pushing up, and focusing on connecting the opposite leg and opposite arm when you're doing this. Notice how when my right foot goes back, my left arm goes back, and my right foot goes back, my right arm goes back. That's what we're trying to work on here. Pretty good. Now, let's go into our deep squat. And nice deep squats. I'm gonna do 12, you can do 10, you can do 8. Whew. Give yourself a little shake, chalk up again. So, the next round, we're gonna go 3-finger drag on the small crimp. Again, if you need to use the floor, that's totally fine. 10 seconds at the very least. Notice I didn't do a full 30 seconds on that one. That's okay. You're giving yourself that block. Also, if you do 10 seconds, shake out and go back and do another 10 seconds, that's totally okay as well. Okay. Rocker crunch and rocker push-up are our next exercises. So we're gonna do our push-up first. Starting in child's pose, we're gonna come in and then do our push. Option is to do the entire movement with your knees on the ground. Flipping around. For our rocker crunch, we're gonna do 10. Our last round, what we want to do is a repeater. What that means is I'm going to go onto this hangboard and I'm going to hold for at least 7 seconds, if not 10 seconds. And we're going to do alternating holds. I'm going to do offset holds, and I'm going to recommend that you do offset holds to see how your body does. So an offset hold would be holding a 4, like holding with a crimp with all 4 fingers, and then a 3-finger drag, or a 2-finger and a 3-finger, or a 4-finger and a 2-finger, and varying degrees of difficulty. So we're gonna try to do those offsets just to make sure that we're conditioning our body for climbing, right? So that's what this is all about. So we're gonna go 7 to 10 seconds on, just come off just long enough to shake out your hands, then go right back up, okay? And shake. And shake. And shake. Shake. That's 4. Last one. Good work. Whew. See how that last round goes real quick. The repeaters are optional. If you don't feel up for doing repeaters, that's totally fine. You can just do the program and finish with a 30-second hold or a 10-second hold or some pull-ups. If you want the cool down for the sequence, click the link right here. It's important for you to give your body the chance to cool down. I actually like to end these classes usually in a Shavasana pose so that you can re-ground yourself in your parasympathetic system, but I promised a quick 25-minute program, and that's what I'm going to deliver to you. So if you want the cool down, I highly recommend continuing on to doing the cool down at some part in your day. It does not have to be right after your workout. In fact, I'm going to go for a cold shower and then do my stretches later this afternoon. If you like this program, check out the other programs I have offered on the free section of my website, as well as paid courses coming soon. Thanks, and I'll see you guys next time.